Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido and lesson number 3 on how to knit. In lesson number 1, you learned how to cast on, how to knit, how to purl, and how to cast off or bind off. In lesson number 2, we recap what we learned in lesson number 1, and we learned as well how to decrease and how to pick dropped stitches. Now I'm gonna teach you in this number 3 how you're gonna do the 1x1 rib or the 2x2 rib. Pretty much are the same what you do, except that the 1x1 rib you do 1 net 1 purl, and the 2x2 rib you do 2 net 2 purl. So by the end of this video you'll have your first hat. The yarn I'm gonna use this time is a full ball of yarn. It's from Loops and Thread Impeccable. It's 100% acrylic. You have 128 grams. And they suggest to use 5mm netting needle or US H8. So with this you can use not just what they recommend, you can use 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, but after 7 the stitch is more loose, more open. Okay, so once you finish with this video you'll be ready to do some of my projects in my channel. So at the end, you're going to see some link of things that I've done that is very easy that any beginner like you can make. So very soon I don't need to do classes just for you guys, because you're going to be doing some of my projects that are all very easy. So you only need practice, practice, practice. The netting needle are 6mm or US number 10. I'm gonna leave a tail long enough to cast on 60 stitches because I want you to do your first hat by the end of this video. If you don't go ahead and done your first hat by using what I already told you in the first and second video. So I'm gonna leave a tail of 60 like I showed you in the first video. You're gonna wrap around here 15 times. Once you have your 15 times, you're gonna let go and fold it in half, and you'll have enough for 30. You're gonna pinch in here, you let go, and then you're gonna have like this enough for 60 plus a little extra. So that's what you're gonna do to leave the tail long enough for casting out. I have my tail in here. I'm gonna do a slip knot. I'm gonna come here. And I'm gonna start casting on the same way I showed you in the last 2 lessons. So you're gonna come here, wrap over your thumb, let go, you have your second stitch, again, your third one, fourth, fifth, and like that you're gonna continue until you have your 60 stitches on your needle. Okay. You will see how easy it is to make a little hat. Here I have my 60 stitches. Now I'm gonna show you how to do the rib stitch, the single rib stitch, one net, one purl. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna knit the first one, yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl the second one. Yarn to the back, you knit one, yarn to the front, you purl one, yarn to the back, you knit one, and yarn to the front, you purl one, and like that is the single rib stitch. That's one knit, one purl, and that's what you do all the way to the end. Okay, so now I'm gonna undo this and I will show you the double rib stitch is two knit, two purl. Now I'll show you the rib of two knit and two purl. And sometimes the stitch say do 3 knit 2 purl, or sometimes say do 2 knit 3 purl, or 5 knit 2 purl. It depends on the pattern, but it's pretty much the same. What you're gonna do. If they say 3, you do 3 knit. If they say 4, you just do 4. So this one you're gonna knit 2. And then yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl 2. You're gonna knit 2, and you're gonna purl 2. And like that you're going to continue all the way to the end if that's what you want to do, 2 knit 2 purl. And that's what I'm going to do for mine. I don't want to remove those stitches and start all over again. So you do 2 knit 2 purl, 2 knit 2 purl all the way till the end. I finished the first row and I finished with 2 pearl. So in this side, those 2 pearls are 2 net, and these 2 net in here, they're pearl in this side. You see, like I mentioned before, the back of a net is a pearl and the back of a pearl is a net. So we're gonna start this row exactly how we start our stitch. You always have to pay attention when you're doing a pattern, because if it's a seed stitch, it's different. So you have to do 2. You're gonna purl the pearl and net the nets. That's what I meant for this design. You see, it's exactly the same basic that I show you in the first video is what we're using here, but in combination of 2 stitches. If you still don't feel comfortable to do this, something like this, you find it's too much too soon, what you can do is you're gonna start with a few row of pearls on the right side and net in the wrong side, and then you can net the rest of the hat in the right side and pearl on the other side. That's exactly what I show you how to do in these pieces here. Okay, so it will be easier, but I recommend to practice this because the hats look really nice when they have a nice border like this. Well, this is a repetition that you're going to continue doing until you have like from 6 to 8 centimeters. So this one that look like a V, you see like this, is a net, and this one that have a little knot is a pearl. So you're going to net the nets and pearl the pearls. So I'm going to work around 6 to 8 centimeters, but before I have my 6 or 8, I will do a mistake on purpose. That way I can show you how you can undo that mistake, because I wish I had learned to correct mistake when I learn how to net, because I will have you know, prevent a lot of headache and frustration to have to undo almost a complete hat because you make a couple of mistakes along the way without paying attention. So that's something that I want to teach as we work. That way you can learn how to correct those mistakes. So you're going to continue doing 2 net to pearl, 2 net to pearl until you have like 6 to 8 centimeters. Here I have 8 rows and I measure 6 centimeters. So now I'm going to work a few of the stitches. I'm going to make a mistake and then work a few more, and then I will show you how to go back to fix that mistake. So I'm going to do my work like this. I'm going to do a few more before I made a mistake. So I'm gonna do, and here these 2 pearl, and let's say I don't pay attention, and in this 2 net I will do 2 pearl again, because that happened to me before. It's not because you're a beginner, sometimes not paying attention, and I do this. So, and then I come here and do, in these 2 pearl I do net, and then oh, I have to do net, and then I continue without seeing the mistake. And continue for a few more, because usually you notice when you've done quite a few stitches. And then I'm gonna do this one here, and let's say I'm gonna pass this one without netting, and then I go to the next one and net the next one. You see I passed that one without working. So I'm gonna do a couple more, and in here these 2, and then when you're gonna move these stitches here, you realize that you made this mistake in here. So, and instead of taking everything apart, what you're gonna do is, in here you have a net and the strand to the back. The same way that you net the stitch, you're gonna remove them from your needle. So you go to this stitch in here, you have the one in the needle and the one under. You go to the one under, and then you remove that one from this needle, and then you have that one there. You go to this one and you do the same to the stitch under, and you remove that one. Now for the pearl, you bring the yarn to the front, and then you grab this one in here. So you are removing them the same way that you work them. And then go to the next one, and here, and then go to the one strand under and remove. And this one is the one that I passed without working. I pass it back to this needle, and then I come here to this pearl and do the same. So this, I tell myself how to do this because I don't learn this from anybody. So because I do 2 videos, Spanish and English, and in the beginning I used to do 2 hats or 2 scarf and stuff like that, and it took me forever. So I learned as I work how to undo those pieces, record a little piece, undo that piece, and record it in English, and so on. So I have practice with this. Sometimes I even remove them all from the needle and remove a few rows and fix the problem. So you see in here is where you have net and the top of the pearl. So again, since they are net, you remove them like a net stitch. And then you come here with the yarn to the front to remove the pearl, and yarn to the back, and always to the one under and here. You see? And here, that's the 2 pearl. And then you continue working. Once you fix the mistake, you see, you go back and you do your 2 nets, and then the 2 pearl, 2 net, 2 pearl, and you fix the mistake. So I will show you one more time. So a little close up, I will show you. So I'm gonna do these 2 net, and I'm gonna net these 2 pearl, and then I'm gonna purl this net, just one, and I'm gonna net this net, and then I will do 2 pearls on top of those 2 pearls. And then when you move this, you realize the mistake, and then you see you have this strand in the top and under your needle, and the one under. Always the one attached to this one, not to the one under, because you will remove 2 stitches. So in this one here, you pass to the side, and then this one and a purl stitch, you pass it in here. You see the next one is a net. You go to that strand in here, remove that one from your right hand needle, and move this a little bit to the back. And this one you see is a purl. You move it here, and then the next one is the 2 net that I did on top of the purl. and here and in here, and then you fix that. You see, you have them already here, and then you continue working the way that you're supposed to work them. So I'm gonna finish this row and do the next one, and then I will show you how you're gonna continue with your little hat. I finished those 2 rows. Now I have 6.5 centimeters here, and you have the 2 options. You can continue working with the 2 net to purl with a rep stitch until you have the length for the hat, or you can do net in the right side and purl in the wrong side. So you can write this down, the different measurement for different kids' hat, so that way you have it with you, just in case you want to do different sizes. For a newborn, the circumference is 14 inches or 36 centimeters. The height, 6 inches or 15 centimeters. 3 to 6 months, 17 inches or 43 centimeters. And the height, 7 inches or 18 centimeters. 6 to 12 months, 18 inches for the circumference or 46 centimeters. And for the height, 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. 12 months to 3 years, 19 inches or 48 centimeters for the circumference, and the height 8 inches or 20.5 centimeters. And for 3 to 10 years old, 20 inches for the circumference or 51 centimeters, and the height 8.5 inches or 22 centimeters. So this one that I'm making here will be for 3 to 6 months. So I will have to work until I have 7 inches long. So and here I done 6.5 centimeters. That is 2.5 inches. So I have to continue working until I have almost 7 centimeters, 7 inches. Sorry, like that. So I will continue with this stitch. So it will be nice and easy. Continue until I have the length, and then I will do the decrease and the cast off of the hat. Okay, so go ahead and continue working until you have that length. That's why it's good to have a little measurement tape. This one I bought a Canadian Tire. I don't know if you guys have Canadian Tire where you live, but you can buy this in different, it can be different type of measurement tape. This is the one that I have. I like them. So if you don't want to do this stitch, you can do net in the right side, and here, because the tail is in the front, that will be the right side of the piece, and then you go back with a row purl, and then you go back with row net, and then a row purl until you have the desired length. So anyway, at the end of this video, I'm gonna leave some link for other videos that they are for hats, very easy for beginners to do, so that way you guys can practice doing hats. So I will continue with this until I have the length, and then I will show you how to do the decrease that I already showed you in last video. So we'll repeat that again, and you're gonna continue the same, to net to purl, to net to purl, to net to purl, if you're doing this exactly the same. I have the length that I need for my hat, and this is for a 3 to 6 months, so 7 inches, 18 centimeters, give or take. And now we're gonna do here what we learned in last lesson, lesson number 2. We're gonna do some decrease, but we're gonna do them as we work the stitches. So these 2 are net, and you're gonna do 2 together and a net stitch. So these 2. Let's see that I grab the 2. I have a strand. 2 together and a net stitch. Yarn to the front, 2 together and a purl stitch. Yarn to the back, these 2 together and a net stitch. Yarn to the front, these 2 together and a purl stitch. This to the back, this yarn to the back, and these 2 together and a net stitch. And like that you're going to continue all the way to the end, doing one net, one purl, one net, one purl, but doing the decrease at the same time. So you're going to end up with 30 stitches on your needle. Now we're going to do another row of decrease, and we are in the wrong side of the piece, and we're going to do two together and a purl stitch. So these two together and a purl stitch, and it will be net in the right side of the piece. These two together and a purl stitch, two together and a purl stitch, and like that you're going to continue all the way to the end. Now we're going to do another row of decrease, and this time you're going to do two together, two together, two together, but in a net stitch because we are working in the right side of the piece. We have one left, and you're going to net that one. So now you're gonna count and you'll have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches left from 60. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut a tail long enough for sewing or hat. So you're gonna measure 1, 2, like 3.5 times. That way you have extra for sewing. It's better to have extra than not to have enough. I already have here my tapestry needle. I bought this one at Walmart. They usually come 2 in the pack. And at Michael's they have this one as well, and in Walmart. So you can buy any of these, but I always like this one because it's more even. You see this one is wider here. And this one is more even here with the needle. So you can pick whichever you prefer. So now I will show you how to close the top and sew your first hat. You have to pay attention when you do this, because if you drop a stitch, you can lose your entire hat. So you see the strand is in this side, so you're gonna come through here, you see? And the other side at this strand, because if you come through this one, you will be taking the last stitch out and your hat will fall apart. So you see, and the other side at this last stitch. And then you, if you feel more comfortable, you count 1, 2. You have to make sure that you pass your 8 stitches, okay? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. Got to pass it through 7 and 8. 7. If you want to do one at a time, it's even better. That way you make sure that you have all of them in. And 8. Now you're gonna go one more time and do this again. You see, with the strand in this side, in the front of you, and you're gonna pass your 8 stitches one more time. I always like to do this in all my hats. That way they're nice and secure on the top. And now I will show you how to close your hat. Now you're gonna pull your needle and pull that tail and tie the top. And with your tapestry needle, you're gonna sew the top and side of your hat. And here you have to make sure that you work even. That way your hat is even at the end. Don't have to be perfect, because remember, this is your first hat. Usually the first 4 or 5 hats will never be perfect until you get practice. And practice is the name of the game. So you're gonna sew this in the side here. And then the other side. We close the top part of the hat. Now for the side, and here you will see that you have in this stitch here with the pearls. You have this border in here, and in that border is where you're gonna sew in this side and in this side of the net, and that border as well is where you're gonna be sewing down. So you have to make sure that you sew your stitches at the same level. That way your hat is nice and even at the end. Like this, you're going to continue sewing the hat until the border. Make sure that it's nice and even. Well, I finished here and I did 2 knots with the 2 ends. And always when you work with a straight needle, when you sew the 2 pieces together, it never will be perfect like the other stitch, but not bad. So like that will be your first hat. So you're gonna come here and here you're gonna lose these tails, okay? But you have to secure them well because you don't want your hat to fall apart the first try, okay? Well, this is the end result of the hat, and it look really cute. What I did here, I just folded a little piece. And it's really nice. So if you want to make one for adult, what you do is you cast on 72 or 76 stitches, and you will work the same design for 22 to 23 centimeters long, and you will have a nice fold if you do 23. So everything else is exactly the same, you know, what you're gonna do to net to purl to net to purl, and the cast off the same. And you will sew exactly the same as well. Well, this is the end result, and I hope you guys like it and give a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And as you make anything on my project, if you learn anything and you want to send me some picture, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Ruby Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family and in groups. That way they learn a little bit of netting. That way you help me grow here on YouTube as well. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.